Hi, everyone, and welcome to the backstage interviews of the Metals Investor Forum. I am here today with JJ Jennex, who is Gerente de Comunicaciones of Guanajuato Silver, responsible for communications. And JJ, there's been a lot happening at Guanajuato in the last 3-4 months. I know that firsthand. And I'd like to talk about some of that, and you can tell us where things are headed.
Yeah, it's really great to see you again, the best dressed man in the space. And unlike most newsletter writers, you pronounce Guanajuato the best. So we're really happy to have a chance to catch up.
All right, well, let's jump into it. Guanajuato has been firing on all cylinders, big acquisitions of properties and facilities that you've really very rapidly reactivated and ramped up. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so that's the thing in terms of being active. We are the fastest growing silver producer in Mexico today. We've got 5 silver mines, 4 of them are in production. We got 3 facilities. We're a company that grows through acquisition, and we believe there are more acquisitions in our future. So all of the growth that we're talking about has occurred over within the last 2 years. We purchased the El Cubo mine, which you got a chance to see here recently. That was a non-core asset from Endeavor Silver. It was on care and maintenance. We told everybody we're going to put this back into production before the end of 2021. Well, within 4 months, we were mining. Within 6 months, we were selling precious metal concentrates. So we've been very good at doing what we say we're going to do. Here, a couple of months back in August, we purchased 3 more mines. These were the assets or the former assets of Great Panther. We purchased the Valenciana mine and the San Ignacio mine, which were on care and maintenance. They were on care and maintenance only because they had run out of tailings space. And we purchased the Topia mine, which was in production and has not lost a single day of production during this ownership transfer. So we expect to hit a run rate of over 3 million silver equivalent ounces by the end of this year and double that by the end of next year. These are silver equivalent ounces, so I should just define what that means. It's about, in terms of value, it's about 50% silver, 30% gold, and then 10% for lead and zinc. So, and if people are not familiar with us at all, we are not called Guanajuato Silver by accident. Most of our mines are located around the city of Guanajuato, which is in the state of Guanajuato. We are all in. We think we're right time, right place on Guanajuato. This is one of the major of all time mining districts. Over a billion ounces of silver has been pulled out of this district. They've been mining here for close to 500 years. And we're surrounded by a number of other mines, some of them private, some of them public. So we do look to grow through acquisition. And that's a brief summary of who we are. And I should probably stop rattling on like a standard IR guy and let you ask a question.
That's all right. Well, that's a fantastic overview in just a couple of minutes. But and despite these great acquisitions and this rapid growth in production and in acquisition of new resources and so on, the really, I guess, sort of really timely latest news is the discovery of a new vein, the San Luis vein at El Cubo. What could this mean for production, for cash flow? What are we potentially looking at?
Well, it's all about grade. So we're all chasing in Guanajuato high grade epithermal vein systems. These are narrow vein systems. Lucky for us, the Mexicans are the best in the world at chasing these veins and mining these veins. At El Cubo, there are essentially 2 mines. There's Santa Cecilia to the north, and to the south, there's the Villalpando mine. And I'll say 2 things, commenting on the vein discovery, the news we had out last week. So the primary system here is called the Villalpando vein. There's also a parallel vein called Dolores. And what runs those veins run typical to what you see in Guanajuato, which is about 60-40 silver over gold in terms of value. But every so often you have these transverse veins which cut perpendicular to the primary systems, and they often can run much higher in terms of gold content. Actually, it's the reverse, about 60-40 gold over silver. We have that at Santa Cecilia. At Santa Cecilia today, we're mining, and it's about 50% of our production from El Cubo, and that is growing in terms of importance. And in fact, a few months ago, we spent about $400,000 building a connector, and you actually traveled you drove through this ramp system, and what it did was it cut 5 kilometers off of the drive back to surfers from Santa Cecilia. It's very good in terms of driving down the operating cost, saves us at least $8 a ton operating cost, and that's a really good example of us using targeted capex to try and drive down operating costs. Now, in the Villalpando area, we've discovered another vein system called San Luis, and it's exactly the same thing. It's a transverse vein. Everything at this point seems to indicate that it again runs higher in terms of gold content, and we are mining from this vein as we speak. So we expect that area will grow in importance. And of course, the driver is great. With the higher gold content, you get a better grade from that particular section of the mine.
Excellent. So let's maybe wrap it up at this point, but not before you tell us what some of the main catalysts are that we can look forward to over the next, say, months and quarters.
So the next big piece of news will be we're going to turn on the mill at Valenciana. So just to recap on what Valenciana is. So Valenciana Mines Complex would be one of the most significant mines, silver mines in world history. So they've been mining here again almost 500 years on a system called the Veta Madre, which is one of the primary systems in Mexico. Valenciana, at one time was producing 60% of all the silver being produced on the planet. It is a major driver, this mine, in terms of not just wealth creation, but in terms of world history. And there's a mill there. And we're going to turn that on before the end of the year, so any moment now. And at that point, we will start producing or processing ore from Valenciana. We're mining there now. And we will also process ore from the San Ignacio mine, which is just to the west of Guanajuato City. So that's probably the biggest piece of news coming up. We will put our Q3 numbers out here at the end of the month, and so people can see again if we're on track in terms of increasing tonnage, grade, recoveries, and obviously silver equivalent production. At the same time, are we on track in terms of driving operating costs down? So those numbers are ahead of us. And then the big driver is, yes, we're a company that looks to grow through acquisition, and we've been very successful at that. And to this point, and right now we are a silver producer in Mexico. We offer exposure to that. And so obviously the higher the silver price, the better. Higher silver prices cure everything. They cure back pain. There'll be world peace. It will break out with higher silver prices. And so we follow your lead, Peter. We are big believers that silver is going to have a great run. It had a great run last week. And all of this is very good for those looking for exposure to the silver metal.
So I must agree. Silver prices higher prices will go a long way to helping everyone in this sector, investors and producers, explorers, everyone. But so you know what? Let's leave it at that. I do want to say that as you mentioned, lots of exciting things happening and things to watch for. I encourage everyone to keep track of developments at Guanajuato Silver, and look forward to doing this again sometime soon to get a follow-on update.
Great seeing you again, Peter. Well, we'll see you definitely in January for the next MIF event, which I highly encourage everyone to attend.
I could not agree more. Thanks so much, JJ. Appreciate it.
All right, bye, Peter.